If you or a loved one went to the New York City Pride March last weekend and saw a topless non-binary, you may also be entitled to financial compensation. We're coming for your children. I'm not, conservatives aren't, but far-left, transgender ideology-pushing liberals are, and they're making it clearer now more than ever before. That is what this episode of Culture Shock is going to be focusing on today. If you haven't seen the video or have any idea what I'm talking about, you're about to get pretty pissed off. So welcome back to this episode of Culture Shock. Yeah, we're coming for your kids. I mean, that's the topic of today. Who's coming for your kids? Drag queens and transgender ideology pushing, far left, insane people who belong behind bars. We're going to start off today with just a video, in case you have no idea what I'm referencing. This is a short video from a New York City Pride March that is going viral. Let me play the clip for you to listen. We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. Did I hear that correctly? Did you hear that correctly? Like, are they finally saying, the quiet part out loud? Like, crystal clear as can be, right? Like, so that's the video. It's been trending on Twitter. It's in articles. It's everywhere at this point. The boomers are seeing it who are on Facebook. Now listen to what this NBC article had to say to defend this video, this phrase of coming for your children. I'm going to read verbatim here from what these NBC News activists, pretending to be journalists, had to say. End quote. Here we go. The coming for your children chant has been used for years at Pride events, according to longtime march attendees and gay rights activists, who said it's one of many provocative expressions used to regain control of slurs against LGBTQ people. And in this case, they said right-wing activists are jumping on a single video to weaponize an out-of-context remark to further stigmatize the queer community. Okay, first of all, who's saying this? There's no sourcing that this is just a provocative expression. Who's saying that? And also, what a provocative expression? Is that like yelling fire in a movie theater? What? That's insane. And this statement is supposed to make people, reading this article after seeing this video say, oh, never mind then. Never mind. All perfectly normal. Nothing to see here. We've been coming after your children for years is a very strange, defense mechanism and response, right? Being a proud child groomer is a really weird defense. I remember when they used to say, hey, can we just, get married? But now they're like, hey, can we come for your children? What's hilarious, too? The people who are being quoted and defending this behavior are, the activists themselves. If you read further in the article, there are quotes from people who are part of groups called Radical Fairies or have names like Sister La-Di-Da or Fussy Lo Mein. And, God bless Twitter's community notes, where you can add context to any, tweet, photo, video, basically just giving context to what's going on if people are trying to misrepresent something. And that's used on all sides of the aisle, for any type of video or photo or tweet. Here's what Twitter users see under this NBC article. I'll read it for you again verbatim. Coming for your children is not a historical part of Pride. The chant appears to originate from the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir singing a song with this title 2 years ago. In 2021. This article is thus a misrepresentation of Pride's history. Oh, a song from 2 years ago, you say? Clearly this song must not be about corrupting children's minds, right? Let's roll the tape. Let's roll the audio of what the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir actually sang 2 years ago. Here you go. Listen to this.
We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You You can keep him from disco. Warn about San Francisco. Make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
Insane people on the left denied that anyone was saying that the LGBTQIA plus whatever community was coming for our children. Now there's a video of them quite literally saying exactly that at a pride march. But oh, it's okay. They were just like being ironic, and it's just a phrase, right? It's just a saying that they've been saying for years now, and it's fine, right? Like, it doesn't really matter what the truth is because mainstream media will defend us till we're blue in the face. It's this like vicious cycle of liberals denying that anything is happening, screaming, "That's not possible. That's not possible. To find an example of this, find me an example. Where are you seeing this? Where are you seeing this?" And then it adapts into, well, that's just like a right-wing conspiracy theory. That's a, far-right thing. Oh, wait, what is that? It might be happening? Is that like an exact example of the thing we've been saying isn't happening? Well, okay, let's sit tight and see how the media and its like cohorts respond and react to this one. If someone get the popcorn, let's see. And then it goes into, guys, it's happening, but it's a good thing. It's been happening for years. It's a good thing. It's ironic. It's funny. It's fill in the blank. And then, a long period of time goes by, months. It could be months. It could be years. It doesn't matter. As long as the general public kind of forgets about what's happening, the media will squash it. Months, years go by. And then another story will kind of start to like rise up again or emerge, And then it goes right back into, that's not happening. That's not happening. The right-wing conspiracy theory to this has always been done pipeline is in full effect. One to the other directly. And parents have been noticing slowly over the past several years that schools are pushing this LGBTQIA whatever agenda on children. And they've been told time and time again, oh, like they're just books. They can't harm you. They're just words. They can't harm you. Okay, like what about now? Like that person talking is not a myth or a book. Like that's a mentally ill person surrounded by thousands of other mentally ill people at a pride parade talking about indoctrinating your children and supporting laws that, can castrate children the minute that they're like confused or, depressed with their bodies or more feminine than the average, boy or more masculine than the average girl. These people are deranged and should be kept far away from children. Other things, happening at this pride march besides we're coming for your children, for the people who are like, well, what if that was an isolated incident? What if that's not what these events are really like? If you're really living under a rock and you're thinking that, but most people, hopefully by this point, are realizing what's going on and waking up to the liberal nonsense that, this transgender ideology is pushing and this LGBTQIA plus whatever, agenda is pushing on children. So in case you're one of those people and you need a little bit more convincing that this event is highly inappropriate for children because they're coming for our children, here are a few other examples. Men wearing Speedos twerked and danced on parade floats, followed, closely behind drag queens who were dancing on poles. There were chants like 5, 6, 7, 8, don't assume your kids are straight. Those chants were, breaking out. A clothing optional pride event water party, that's a mouthful, in Washington Square Park in New York City was occurring for adults and kids. This video is horrific. I'm not even sure I can play this video without having to censor it out, which is so incredibly ironic because there were kids at this event who were witnessing this and they didn't get to have this censored out. It was just all up in their face. Here's a video of this, adult and kid clothing optional pride event water party for you. And also there were signs saying, "We'll love our son even if he's straight." Those are some of the things you probably saw plastered, all over Twitter as is positive things coming out of these pride events. Celebrate, look how cool these people are. Let's celebrate this. But what you probably didn't see or didn't hear about, an LGBT nonprofit whistleblower was, quote, kicked, hit, pushed, and mobbed by several people attending this Pride March in New York City for exercising her right to free speech. Here's a clip for you if you're listening or watching. Those are the people at these pride events, these pride marches, are the most tolerant, inclusive, totally mentally sound people who should be trusted without a doubt with our children, right? Is that what you want me to say? Is that me buying into this narrative that these trans people aren't mentally unwell and that they are safe to be around children and they don't want to indoctrinate our children? No, that's absolute bullshit. They're coming for your kids. They're saying it on video now. They're dumb enough, right? They're dumb enough to say it on a video time and time again, where now parents are even more parents than ever are now waking up and hearing that and going, oh, okay, that's not what I was thinking was going on here, but now maybe these people are up to no good, even more than they already were before. And my theme, like time and time again for these videos that I kind of always wrap up with, not even intentionally at this point, but like it's kind of just the theme of my life now and everybody's lives in the media, is to not always trust like the far left media and what they're pushing, what they're saying. Because there's articles like this one from NBC News saying that this comment, coming for your children is like a phrase that's been used long before. And it took like a community notes, box on Twitter to be like, that's bullshit. In fact, they've said this before and now they're like doubling down on it again. Like this been used in this gay men's choir and now they're using it again in a pride march in New York City. So it just like reinforces my point of like question everything. Like people who read that article, I'm like, oh, like this must be some like, some day-to-day, term that they're using. There must be some meaning behind this, right? This can't be malicious. No, it absolutely is malicious. And it took a Twitter community notes box to say that that's a lie and that this isn't something that should be, glanced over as, oh, that's no big deal. That's nothing that's common, common knowledge, a common phrase to be used. Like we have to actually roll tapes and listen to audios and dig a little deeper to find context behind these stories, because people will just blindly nod along and agree and say, oh, well, like that's okay. And not only will they say that's okay, but also people are now starting to pick up on this cycle. I'll put up a photo of like this tweet, this image that's going around that is just so perfect. I don't even know where it started or who originally like made this. But it's perfect. It's showing this never-ending cycle of how like liberal and far left news outlets and like activists are covering stories like just like this one. They're saying that doesn't exist. Oh, well, that's a conspiracy theory. Oh, well, if it exists, that's it's a good thing. Like it's okay. It's crazy, like this like cycle that they're going through, and that they are aware that they're pushing, but they will do nothing to stop it. They will do nothing to stop it. It's insane people on the left that are denying that this is a thing. They're these journalists who are actually activists who are just pretending to be journalists, are the ones that are continually like pushing this big, it's almost like a big boulder, right? Like it's like you're pushing it down and it just constantly is picking up speed and gaining speed until it just goes back to where it was. It just constantly is like rolling. It's constantly going. Now there might be a little bit more of time in between some of these, these spots on this cycle, this arrow like circle that's going on here, but it always comes back in like full circle, like every single time. It's astounding. It doesn't matter what the truth is because the mainstream media will defend these people until they are blue in the face. Don't buy into this cycle that they're pushing of it's perfectly normal, nothing's going on. Oh, well, that's a right-wing conspiracy theory. Oh, we're not coming for your children. Yes, they are. They've made it abundantly clear for years now. It's pretty much going on years that they're coming for our children. They're singing it in songs. They're screaming it in the streets of New York during Pride events. They are stripping naked in front of your children in the name of welcome to a adult and children topless optional water party in the middle of like a park in New York. They're making it obvious that they're not going to be stopping anytime soon. They're not being ironic. They're not being tongue-in-cheek. They're not being sarcastic. They're being absolutely so dead serious. It's scary. They're groomers. They're coming to indoctrinate your children on TikTok, in schools, in literature, on the internet, every like means possible. And they're singing about it now. They're screaming it in streets. They're making it known what their goals are. And it's up to conservatives to keep calling out instances like these to make sure that rules are implemented and that there are laws that are made to protect children from these people who need to be in mental hospitals. If you as a parent are concerned about your children's safety from these people, you must be the bigot. You must be the transphobe. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Like yelling fire in a movie theater. It's just a provocative expression. What if holding up the middle finger is a provocative expression? Does that count? Oh, I hope the people from high school find this one. They'll enjoy it for sure. Oh, Lindsay's a transphobe. Lindsay's a bigot. Just add him to the list. Just add him to the list.